Hi, my name is Ashley Ferris, and this is my presentation on Arizona's language development approach. Arizona's definition of English language learners is defined as a child who does not speak English or whose native language is not English, and who is not currently able to perform ordinary classroom work in English. In Arizona, pre-K through 12th grade students, there are 103,318 students that are classified as English language learners. This number makes up 9.2% of the student population. The top 5 languages these English language learners speak are Spanish, Arabic, Swahili, Navajo, and Vietnamese. These numbers are recorded from 2023. Instructional program models. An ESL instructional program model is a special curriculum methodology and techniques that are used to teach an English language learner. Instruction is primarily in English. Bilingual programs use the student's first language to teach English. When there are large groups of students from the same language background, schools are able to implement this model easily. Teachers must know both English and the native language of the student. Sheltered English instruction is the model where students from varying native language backgrounds are grouped into one class to learn English. Teachers use English to provide content instruction. While one of the goals is to learn English, it is also focused on content. Teachers may use visual aids, technology, and gestures to help students understand the important concepts. The structured immersion program for students is when they are placed in a classroom with the purpose to learn English. Instruction is completely in English. The goal is for students to learn English quickly so they can be placed in a mainstream classroom. Arizona has created 4 principles of language development. All educators should follow these principles as they teach. The first principle is asset-based behaviors and expectations. Teachers should view multilingualism as an asset. They should use culture and native language to help with instruction. Students should also feel their culture is acknowledged and respected in the classroom. The second principle is integrated instruction in disciplinary language and content. Teachers should instruct using the English language proficiency standards. While teaching these standards, they need to ensure they are differentiating instruction. Teachers should also immerse students in a language-rich environment in interactive discussion-based learning tasks. Finally, teachers should offer English language learners students an opportunity to engage in grade-level learning through abundant academic reading, writing, and discussion. The third principle is targeted and explicit language instruction. Educators should ensure students are incorporating language through speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Teachers should support English learners to develop the discourse practices they need to engage with rigorous grade-level disciplinary content. Finally, teachers should demonstrate the importance of language and how it scaffolds to other curriculum areas. The fourth principle is assessment, monitoring, and feedback. Teachers should use formative and summative assessments that require sophisticated uses of language embedded in authentic and rich content. Teachers should base their future instruction data on data that they have taken. Do they need to review or reteach a subject before they move on in the curriculum? Finally, teachers should use the standards the state has provided to guide and assess language learning. Student agency is when students lead their learning and interact with the world with curiosity. Student agency is important with English language learners because they need to be determined to learn a new language. When they learn English, they can further their academic journey. Some of Arizona's SEI models are newcomer, pull out, 2 hour, and 50-50. Let's look at the newcomer model. In this model, students receive 100 to 120 minutes of target instruction. Targeted instruction is made up of students in the same grade level as well as English proficiency level. Students will receive 100 to 120 minutes of integrated instruction. In the newcomer model, it is only made up of the English language learners. The rest of the academic day, the students spend in classes taught in English. These classes are with English learners and non-English learners. Next, let's look at the pull-out model. These students receive 50 to 60 minutes of target instruction. Targeted instruction is made up of a student in the same grade level as well as English proficiency level. Students will also receive 50 to 60 minutes of integrated instruction. In the pull-out model, it is made up of English language learners and non-English language learners. The rest of the academic day and the students are spent in classes being taught in English. These classes are with both English learners and non-English learners. The 2-hour model, students receive 100 to 120 minutes of targeted instruction. Targeted instruction is made up of the students in the same grade level as well as English proficiency level. Students will also receive one class or period of integrated instruction. In the 2-hour model, it is made up of English language learners and non-English language learners. The rest of the academic day, the students spend in classes taught in English. These classes are with both English learners and non-English learners. In the 50-50 model, students receive 25 to 30 minutes of targeted instruction. Targeted instruction is made up of students in the same grade level as well as the same English proficiency level. Students will receive 75 to 90 minutes of integrated instruction. In the 50-50 model, it is made up of English learners and non-English learners, except with targeted instruction. In this model, a student's day is split in half. They receive half their instruction in English and the other half in their native language. Assessments and placements for English language learners is very important. Assessments for English language learners are used with the Arizona English Language Learner Assessment. These assessments meet both federal and state requirements. This assessment helps determine if a student's proficient in the English language. It also helps determine if reassessment is needed. Students may be placed in certain classes based on the data of this class. Students will also participate in a reassessment once a year until they reach proficiency. Once they reach proficiency, they will be monitored for 2 years to make sure they are continuing to be successful in the general education classroom. Finally, a home language survey is also used to help identify students who are English language learners. Accommodations for English language learners are similar for any student with IEPs: small group testing, one-on-one, or separate locations, special seating, being familiar with a test administrator, having a special pencil, using devices such as glasses, contacts, magnification lighting, or special reading overlays. Students may also use noise buffers during the test after directions have been read. They may also have repeated directions and have questions answered pertaining to the directions, not the test itself. When it comes to parents and guardians' rights, they will receive a consent form if their student qualifies for English Learner Services. This will be sent in their native language, and the school must document any attempts to contact the parents. Parents may use this consent form to refuse services for their student if they do not wish them to be a part of English learning services.